Did you know that one of the most used items in your kitchen could be hiding an invisible danger, capable of turning your meals into a veritable bacterial minefield? That cutting board you use daily, perhaps without much concern, can be the perfect home for unwanted microorganisms, ready to contaminate your food and compromise your family's health. It's a frightening scenario, but the good news is that you have the power to change it. In this video, we're going to reveal the 7 most common mistakes that turn your cutting board into a bacterial bomb, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Get ready to discover essential secrets that will revolutionize how you prepare your food, ensuring more safety and peace of mind in your kitchen. Stay until the end to uncover all these mysteries. Chapter 1: Cross-contamination, the silent enemy. The first and perhaps most serious mistake many people make is cross-contamination, a true Achilles heel in food safety. Using the same board to cut raw meat such as chicken or fish, and then chopping fresh vegetables or foods that will be eaten raw, like salad, is simply asking for trouble. The bacteria present in raw meat are directly transferred to ready-to-eat foods. Imagine this scenario. You cut a raw chicken breast, full of bacteria like Salmonella or Campylobacter, on your board. Then, without proper cleaning, you use the same surface to slice tomatoes for a salad. Voila! The raw meat bacteria are now on your tomatoes, ready to be ingested. This invisible transfer of microorganisms is the essence of cross-contamination. Even if you cook the meat afterward, the bacteria transferred to the board and then to other uncooked foods will remain active. This means that no matter how much effort you put into preparation, a simple slip with the cutting board can ruin everything. The solution to this problem is simple but requires discipline. Have separate cutting boards for different types of food. One for raw meats, another for vegetables, and if possible, a third for bread and other ready-to-eat foods. You can even use different colors to easily identify them in your kitchen. Investing in a set of colored boards, or simply designating a specific board for each purpose, is a small step that makes a gigantic difference. Remember, prevention is always the best cure, and avoiding cross-contamination is the fundamental pillar to ensuring your food is not only tasty, but also safe for the entire family. Chapter 2: The need for immediate and deep cleaning. The second crucial mistake that turns your cutting board into a breeding ground for bacteria is the lack of immediate and proper cleaning, especially after contact with raw meats. Often, due to haste or carelessness, the board isn't washed immediately with the attention it deserves, allowing microorganisms to settle and proliferate. After cutting any type of raw meat, poultry, or fish, your board becomes a repository for bacteria. If you just rinse it with cold water or leave it to wash later, you're giving these bacteria the time and environment they need to multiply exponentially, turning your board into a vector of contamination. Correct washing is essential and must be done without delay. This means using hot water and plenty of soap, vigorously scrubbing all surfaces of the board, including the sides. The combination of water temperature with the degreasing action of soap is crucial for removing visible and invisible residues. For plastic or acrylic boards, you can even use a stiff bristled brush to ensure all grooves are reached and thoroughly cleaned. Remember, the goal is to eliminate any trace of food and, more importantly, the bacteria that may have settled on the surface. Don't underestimate the power of immediate and thorough cleaning. This simple yet vital habit is one of your most effective defenses against bacterial proliferation. A clean and well-maintained board is synonymous with a safer kitchen and healthier food for everyone. Chapter 3: Wooden boards, the danger of deep grooves. The third common and often neglected mistake lies in the choice and maintenance of wooden cutting boards, especially those with deep grooves. Although it has certain natural antibacterial properties, a very old or poorly maintained board can turn into a true germ nest, compromising food hygiene. With continuous use, the surface of wooden boards tends to wear down and form small cracks, cuts, and grooves. These imperfections, however small they may seem, are ideal places for food particles and microorganisms to lodge, making effective cleaning an almost impossible task, even with all dedication. Think of these grooves as tiny hiding places for bacteria. No matter how much you wash and scrub, water and soap may not be enough to penetrate these cavities and dislodge the germs that have settled there. This means that with each use, you may be adding more bacteria to an already contaminated environment. When your wooden board starts showing clear signs of wear, with many knife marks and visible and deep grooves, it's a warning sign. In these cases, however much it may hurt your wallet, the best option is to replace it with a new one. Your family's food safety is worth the investment. To extend the lifespan of new wooden boards and minimize groove formation, always use them with sharp knives. Dull knives require more force and tend to bite into the wood. Additionally, regular maintenance with specific food-grade mineral oils can help seal the surface and hinder bacterial penetration. Chapter 4. The danger of scratched plastic boards. Similar to wooden boards, plastic cutting boards also pose a significant risk when they are heavily scratched. Many believe that plastic is inherently more hygienic, but with use and time, it also develops grooves and cuts that seriously compromise its ability to be effectively cleaned. The grooves in plastic boards act as microshelters for bacteria and food residues. Knives, repeatedly sliding across the surface, create grooves where microorganisms can hide and multiply, protected from the action of water and soap during routine washing. No matter how hard you scrub, the bristles of the sponge or brush may not be able to reach the bottom of these deep grooves. This means that with each use, a new layer of bacteria can be introduced, and existing ones remain there, ready to transfer to the next food being prepared. The good news is that plastic boards are generally cheaper and easier to replace than wooden ones. If your plastic board is dull with many knife marks and grooves visible to the touch, it's a clear indication that it has reached the end of its useful life and needs to be discarded. To prolong the life of your plastic boards, use them with sharp knives to avoid creating deep grooves, and wash them immediately after use with hot water and soap. Regularly inspecting the surface of your board and replacing it when necessary are simple actions that ensure food safety in your home. Chapter 5. The danger of moisture and the mistake of not drying completely. The fifth, often neglected, mistake is the failure to completely dry the cutting board before storing it. Many people think that once washed, the board is clean and safe. However, residual moisture is an open invitation for the proliferation of bacteria and fungi, transforming a clean utensil into a perfect environment for microorganism growth. Bacteria and fungi thrive in warm, moist environments. If you wash your board and simply leave it to drip dry or store it still wet in a closed cabinet, you're creating the ideal conditions for these invisible enemies to multiply rapidly. The board surface, which should be a safe place, becomes a focus of contamination. Complete drying is not just about avoiding visible mold. It's about eliminating the moisture that serves as a basis for the survival and reproduction of pathogenic bacteria, such as E. coli or Salmonella, even if you don't see them. A damp board can reintroduce these microorganisms into your food the next time it's used. To ensure safety, after washing your board with hot water and soap, use a clean, dry dishcloth to remove as much moisture as possible. Then, let it air dry completely in a well-ventilated area before storing it. A good practice is to place it vertically in a dish rack. Remember, time is a critical factor. The longer the board remains damp, the greater the chance of contamination. Completely drying your cutting board is a simple yet absolutely fundamental step to keeping your kitchen hygienic and your food free from invisible dangers. Chapter 6. Storing damp and stacked boards, a critical mistake. The sixth mistake, which often goes hand in hand with the previous one, is storing cutting boards stacked and still damp in enclosed spaces, such as cabinets or drawers. This practice creates a dark, confined, and humid environment, which is the perfect scenario for the rampant proliferation of bacteria, fungi, and mold, compromising the hygiene of your entire kitchen. When boards are stacked without being completely dry, moisture gets trapped between them. This lack of ventilation prevents evaporation, creating an ideal microclimate for the development of microorganism colonies that can not only leave an unpleasant smell, but also release harmful toxins. Think of a closed cabinet as a greenhouse for bacteria. The lack of light and high humidity are exactly what these microorganisms need to reproduce rapidly. When you pull a clean board from this type of storage, you may actually be pulling out a board covered by an invisible layer of germs. To avoid this mistake, the golden rule is simple. Only store your cutting boards after they are completely dry. Ideally, use a vertical stand that allows air to circulate over all surfaces, or store them separately, ensuring there's no contact between them while there's still moisture. Prioritize ventilation. If you store boards in a cabinet, make sure it's always dry and clean. Storage hygiene is just as important as washing hygiene. A little care in this step can make a huge difference in your home's food safety. Chapter 7. Never disinfecting boards. The seventh and final mistake, and perhaps the most critical, is never disinfecting your cutting boards regularly. Washing with soap and water is fundamental for removing visible dirt and a large portion of bacteria, but it's not enough to eliminate all microorganisms, especially those hidden in grooves or resistant to common washing. Think of disinfection as the final and crucial step to ensuring your cutting board is truly safe. Invisible residues of raw meat and pathogenic bacteria can survive simple washing, especially on porous or scratched surfaces, and that's where disinfection comes in to eliminate these agents. There are different disinfection methods, depending on the material of your board. For plastic or acrylic boards, a diluted bleach solution, 1 teaspoon of bleach per liter of water, can be applied, letting it sit for a few minutes before rinsing thoroughly. For wooden boards, white vinegar is an excellent natural option, as it has antibacterial and antifungal properties. Simply spray pure vinegar onto the board after washing, and let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes before rinsing. This helps neutralize bacteria and odors. The frequency of disinfection will depend on use, but it's highly recommended to do it at least once a week, or more frequently if you prepare a lot of raw meats. Incorporating disinfection into your cleaning routine is a simple habit that offers an extra layer of protection against foodborne illnesses. Conclusion: your cutting board, such a fundamental utensil in any kitchen, can be both an ally and a source of invisible dangers. By avoiding the 7 mistakes we discussed, from cross-contamination and lack of immediate cleaning to neglecting drying and disinfection, you not only protect your family from foodborne illnesses, but also raise the level of hygiene and safety in your home. Adopting these simple yet powerful practices transforms your kitchen into a safer and more peaceful environment. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden dangers on your cutting board and helped you learn how to protect it, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more valuable tips that will make a difference in your health and well-being.